Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Orange family. Thank you guys for joining us on this wonderful Friday. I really am very, very thankful for your guys' appearance and taking a listen today. Today we have a topic about renting with confidence, right? It's a topic that can be pretty, variable in the sense of not every home or not every landlord has the same priorities that is the general mix, right? So I want to start off with the basic qualifications as what it takes to rent a home, right? And you're looking at least the big four things, which are, your ID and your social, your 3 times the rent, credit score, and rental history, right? Those 4 things are always going to be the biggest thing, and it's just a matter of how the landlord perceives their level of risk with each tenant that they decide to take on, right? Because with the fact, it's a blessing and a curse, right? With those 4 things, really the main 2 things at the end, which are credit and rental history, those can vary depending on landlord to landlord. The 3 times the rent, income at the end of the day is always going to be number 1. It doesn't matter if you have great credit or great rental history. Without the income, we can't make things happen, right? But for example, let's say you're just starting out, getting your credit score fixed, or you don't necessarily have good credits. There's ways to get around that, and really depends on the agent you're working with and the landlord's mentality, right? So a good agent, a good realtor is going to go ahead and do some digging, some due diligence on the matter for you to ensure that he gets that credit information before you apply, right? At least I've done so in the past for my clients. I want to make sure that the first house we apply to, we get approved. That's always my goal, right? With that, credit is something that can be, bendable in a landlord's mind, just in the sense that if you are making great income, you can go ahead and pay a double deposit for the credit inefficiencies, right? Or if you have great rental history, right? Let's say you don't necessarily have credit, or your credit's not that good. With your rental history, you can actually use that to leverage as credit, because in a sense it is credit, right? Really just depends on the landlord that you are working with at the end of the day and what their qualifications are. Like I said, a good realtor is going to do that investigating for you to ensure they get that information of what the qualifications are for this house is in particular, right? Because not every landlord has the same qualifications. With that, another way to kind of overcome, really the only way to overcome income barriers is through a cosigner. With a cosigner, you can go up to whatever is the amount that you are in need of. Typically though, for the cosigner, depending on the landlord, they'll typically want 4 to 6 times the rent to ensure that, if anything goes left, the landlord is taken care of right at the end of the day. For them, it's all about risk mitigation, which only makes sense. A tip for you guys, just for my people who are animal folks, if you're having issues renting with your animal because it's too big, or typically it's usually when it's too big, because when it's a small dog, most landlords really don't care. Then there are some landlords who will tell you no from the beginning, that no matter what the pet is, I don't want it, right? For my people who are having issues with that, I highly recommend that you guys get in touch with a insurance company for pets. Right, there is something that I learned with a past client of mine, that if you have an insurance company that you can put with your pets, put some coverage on your pet for the landlord, that can help get you into the door, right? And make sure you can keep your buddy with you. That's what matters, right? Because at the end of the day, people aren't always so great, right? Another tip to give you guys is, when it comes to trying to dodge higher rents, really the only way is to maintain your relationship with your landlord as great as you can. Make sure that relationship you have with them is good, and that you take care of their property, right? Because think about it, me as a landlord, I wouldn't mind not increasing the rent as much if I have a tenant who takes care of the property, right? I mean, if you're a tenant who truly doesn't care for the things that I own, then I'm just going to keep looking to raise the rent on you every year if I can, right? But if you tend to take care of things, I won't be as influenced to do so, right? But get a longer lease if you can. The longer you can get an established lease is the longest time that you won't have your rent go up, because with that lease, that document, he won't be able, or they won't be able to raise the rent on you until the end of the lease, right? The expiration of the lease. Truly though, guys, I want to give you a brief little insight about the rental market right now, and I truly don't suggest trying to move so much when it comes with the rental market, because the things have really picked up in the sense of interest rates going up. People aren't buying as much, so landlords have a lot more leverage than they did before, right? Although rents have been cooling with the multifamily construction that has been going around in the city, but it's not still really enough when it comes to housing, or at least property types that are just housing rentals, right? Houses that are rentals. Apartments, condominiums, that's different. They're definitely cooling because there's a lot more of those than there are houses. When it comes to renting a house, you're looking at least, in Austin, anywhere from $2,300 to $2,500, and that's maybe a 3-2, and maybe it's a bit modern, but I wouldn't say that it's anything worth paying for, in my opinion. Because if you're paying $2,500 for a rental house, you pay $500 more, you can have your own house in the city of Austin, right? If you're open to going a little on the outskirts, you could probably find some houses for like $2,000, maybe $1,900, right? But those houses go on the market and sell or rent out the next day. Really, those they don't last too long on the market. So when it comes to renting or buying, I definitely understand there are some situations that we go through though where we have to rent right now, and buying is just not an option for us. But at the end of the day, what I always suggest to everybody is to obtain the information. At the end of the day, you have more to gain than to get the information and plan out the future. You have nothing to lose because of the fact that you have time. The worst thing that can happen, right, is that you wait, like however much time you want to wait to obtain the information. Right now, you feel as if things have gotten better, you feel more financially stable, you feel you're ready to obtain the information. Well, next thing you know, you didn't have, I don't know, for example, depending on your loan product, you didn't have seasoned amount of funds in your account. So now when you come to talk to me about the information, and we help you connect you with the lender, and the lender tells you need a seasoned amount of money into your account, meaning a certain degree of finances sitting in your account for a certain amount of time, you won't be able to move forward on the process because you didn't talk to me sooner, and we didn't set up a plan or whatever the case may be for the loan product. Right now, instead of waiting, you said we'll talk in a year, or talk to your advisor in a year. Next thing you know, you talk to your advisor, you feel you're ready. Now you have to wait another 4 months, 3 months, because of the fact that you didn't have the seasoned funds, or you didn't have rental history, right? Depending on the loan product, you may need rental history. And if you don't have the sufficient amount of rental history, right? Because obviously, you were renting before. Some products may ask you for more rental time, right? So, yeah, at the end of the day, I just advise that you guys don't automatically disqualify yourselves. As someone who is in the field every day, talking to lenders every day, I have a lot of extensive information that I know some folks don't have. And when you look at the social media and what the media is presenting to you, it's all sunshine and butterflies. It's not always like that, or it's not all dark and gloom and negativity, right? It's all about where you're getting your information from. So at the end of the day, if you got to rent, do what you got to do, but keep a trusted advisor on your team so that way you obtain information that is correct. Well, I don't know if we have any questions in the chat or.
No, we do not have any questions. Thanks for all the info, Danny.
Thank you guys for stopping by, and may you guys have a blessed day, and take care on this lovely Friday. I appreciate y'all.